So, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Switzer. I'm medical director of an Ayurvedic detox clinic here south of Munich on Lake Starnberg. And we offer detox treatments. I also practice homeopathic medicine now since almost 40 years, as well as functional medicine and including the use of wild plants. So the topic today is what to do: hair loss, falling hair, male androgenetic alopecia. And so this is very clear that our hormones do have an effect on our hair and also hair loss. And that is when testosterone, the male hormone, is converted to DHT due to an enzyme which we would like to block, because DHT is a form of testosterone that is toxic for our hair. And so there's a number of plants that actually can do this, can inhibit the conversion of testosterone into DHT. And these plants are called aromatase inhibitors. And one of the most important plants in the plant world, the wild plants, is stinging nettles. And we can use these as fresh nettles, or we can even buy dried nettles. We can make tea out of it, make a smoothie out of it. So this is actually a bag of German dried stinging nettles, or even as powder or as seeds, nettle seeds. So what's interesting about stinging nettles is they can block the conversion of testosterone to DHT through this, because they contain aromatase inhibitors. Now, there's actually a medication which you can get from your doctor, which has side effects, unfortunately, but it's called finasteride. So this can block the conversion of testosterone to DHT by about 60%. So this has been clinically tested. But we don't like the side effects, so we're going to see if we can do this with plants. Another good possibility is drinking green tea. That's what I have here. I drink it every day, but I drink the caffeine-free. So you can buy it caffeine-free or with caffeine. The problem with caffeine, it's almost like coffee. You drink it too late in the day, it might keep you up at night. But green tea is also very good. The Chinese have known this for centuries. Green tea can help to prevent hair loss and also prevent graying of hair. We'll get into that issue later. Then we have saw palmetto, which is a plant that we use for prostate problems, enlarged prostate, for example, getting up at night and having to pee. We can use saw palmetto, but we can also use it for stopping the conversion of testosterone to DHT. So this is another plant we can use. Also, turmeric is a good, it's the root that you can use. We use it for making smoothies, for juicing. You can also take capsules that are very effective also for stopping this conversion of testosterone. Then we have the whole onion and leek family. I would say leeks are very good. Every time you make soup, think leeks. Leeks are also onions, but they're mild kind of onions, so you can chop them up, throw them in your soup. And they contain some plant phytochemicals that also can inhibit hair loss. Then we have, I used to be against soya products, but I've changed my mind. I read the research, clinical studies. tofu tempeh, of course, only organic tempeh, which is a fermented soy product, which was first created in Indonesia. This is something I use almost every day. Of course, you can also use tofu, and edamame are like the soybeans that are you can buy. So these have also, it's been shown clinically to stop this hair loss and especially this androgenetic male pattern hair loss. So this is, I think, very interesting. Now we come to nutrients that can help our hair and prevent hair loss. Now this is something that I think would be important also for anybody complaining with hair loss. So I would say 90% of my clientele are women, and I see these issues frequently with women too. And these are some of the recommendations we make. So top of the list again, stinging nettles. But then also other wild plants like dandelion. And then we get to the polyphenols, which is a phytonutrient in these wild plants, but also in berries like blueberries, wild berries, raspberries. Also, the highest concentration is in cloves. So you can put in, if you make your tea, you can throw in a couple of cloves. Don't ever underestimate cloves. They have like 15,000 units of polyphenols that are not only good for preventing hair loss, but also preventing cancer. So think cloves. You can also use powder. You can mix it with cinnamon for putting over, I don't know, fruit or something. Then we have any green plants like broccoli also have polyphenols, and also sulforaphane. They have phytochemicals which act as nutrients for hair growth, stimulate hair. And we, of course, come to vitamin D3 with vitamin K2 together, also very important. Then we have green lip mussel concentration. Now, green lips mussels grow in the waters off of New Zealand, and though that ocean water is very clean, so these are very clean mussels, and they've been well known as helpful in stopping hair growth, and they're very popular in Japan and China because in Asia it's very important not to go gray, to keep your hair dark and black. So this is one of the secrets of Chinese men, Japanese men, also women. They take green lip mussels imported from New Zealand. So you take like 2 capsules a day. This is not only great for hair growth, it's also great for arthritis, preventing joint pain, even back pain. So it's something to consider. Then we come to seaweed. Now, seaweed has a lot of nutrients, a lot of phytochemicals. It has minerals. It has plant phytochemicals, other nutrients. And I'm holding up this is a mixture of powder we can use like a teaspoon as a spice up a soup. And I asked my colleague today, and she said, well, it doesn't taste too bad. She doesn't like to eat seaweed, but she says it's no problem putting in a teaspoon like into her soup. It gives it a nice little kick. And it contains a seaweed that I consider the #1 called bladderwrack. And this is, I've picked this off the Oregon coast, Pacific Ocean. at low tide. So I picked the bladderwrack, and yeah, it's really incredible. And it's even being studied as for its use in cancer treatment. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, we have minerals like zinc and copper, so it might be interesting to get. There's also supplements that contain both zinc and copper in the correct ratio. We need copper, and we need iodine also to prevent graying of the hair, but also against falling of the hair. So if anybody comes to me with major hair loss, the first thing I recommend is iodine in the form of Lugol's solution. We'll come to that in a minute. I also use a liquid form of 2 or 3 tablespoons of a liquid form of trace minerals that are organic, that come from a organic plant-derived substrate that is probably hundreds of thousands of years old, which was kind of preserved in a unique geological formation in the mountains, in the Rocky Mountains. And this has been also very good for to prevent hair loss, to stop graying hair. So I've been using this product for about 30 years now, and I'm going to be 68 this year. And I must say I'm trying to hold back gray hair, and I don't dye my hair. I have a few gray hairs. They first appeared during the pandemic, so it was a pretty stressful time for me. But I think, yeah, these minerals, these trace minerals are very important, and of course, especially iodine. So that might hold off graying of your hair. We come to nutritional yeast. These yeast flakes are grown on molasses. They taste good. You can mix it with coconut yogurt or almond yogurt, plant-based yogurt. You can mix it, and you can add some goji berries and some sunflower seeds, and you can eat that for breakfast, for example. This is something I do, and quite frequently. So nutritional yeast actually is something I highly recommend. What it does, it stabilizes blood sugar, and it also has important B vitamins like vitamin B1. Then for the non-vegetarians, we have collagen or gelatin. 1 teaspoon, maybe even every second day, can also be very helpful to stimulate hair growth and connective tissue. So that might be something interesting. There was an American healer. His name was Edgar Casey, and he recommended eating green leafy plants and vegetables together with a little bit of gelatin. He claimed that the nutrients in these green leafy vegetables will be assimilated better in the intestines and would be much more effective that way if you put both together, the collagen, the gelatin together with the green nutrients. So now we come to another nutrient, Astaxanthin. It's found in the ocean in krill, which the fish eat, and the salmon eat krill, and the salmon have orange, flesh. It makes them turn orange. It makes lobsters turn orange. And this orange pigment is actually astaxanthin. And this has very strong anti-oxidation properties. It sort of neutralizes the free radicals. It also lowers DHT, that toxic form of testosterone we want to eliminate, because if DHT is too high, That encourages hair growth. It kind of makes the hair follicles dry up. It squeezes them, DHT. So you want to think about Astaxanthin, and the dosage I would recommend is about 8 to 10 milligrams. It's something I take every day. It's also great for your eyesight, for healthy retinas. And so think about Astaxanthin. We talked about the trace minerals. And now we get down to Lugol's 5% solution. Now this is a little bit controversial because in medical school I learned that iodine is toxic and the recommendation is a maximum of only 200 micrograms a day. And the Japanese are getting about 12 to 14, some are getting more, 16 milligrams per day. And other Asians are getting this amount too. What do you see? They have, a lot of them have really haven't lost their hair and have dark hair. They don't gray. They don't seem to gray as fast as populations in the West, in North America and Europe. So I think the trick is they get a lot of iodine. They eat fish almost every day. They eat sushi. They eat seaweed. And so they're getting a lot of iodine. Now, what I've seen, patients who come to me, they want to see quick results. This is why I recommend Lugol's solution. We start in with, say, 1 drop a day. You can put 1 drop in some juice and then drink it. And then after a week, if you can raise it each week to by 1 drop, say a good dose would be like 3 drops a day. And this also could cause some detoxification symptoms. You might feel a little bit of brain fog, maybe at first, a little bit of maybe even headache. But this usually goes away after about a week. But I've had other patients say some started taking 3 drops right away, and they felt this mental energy, more focus, more energy. They got home after work. They weren't tired. They had enough energy to go out for a workout. So their life, they didn't just fall on their couch after work. So what happened here is they were just totally deficient in iodine. There's a doctor, his name is Dr. Dr. Brownstein in Michigan. He claims that at least 93% of the population in the United States is deficient in iodine. I would say that's true also for Europe. And so that promotes graying hair, promotes hair loss, it promotes brain fog, it promotes depression, it also memory loss, lack of focus, and it can really mess up your hormones. So all our cells have receptors for iodine, not just the thyroid. Every cell needs iodine, and we're not getting it. And plus, there's toxic chemicals that compete with iodine for receptors in the cells. So think about Lugol's solution. Usually you can get this without a prescription, and so you could take up to 3 drops a day, and I think you'll be surprised by the results. So yeah, I wish you well, and please get back to me with your feedback. I've seen very good successes with patients, and I'd like to hear what your experience were using this approach. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.